Trying to figure out, the
Yeah, right
software.
on, man. How you been?
Okay, I think
Good, man.
I've got after this I've got the community call to prep. Hey, they're coming in now.
Cool. Howdy, howdy.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm green and you're purple, Neil. Can you hear us okay, Frenchman?
Yep. All good. Can you
Sound
guys hear
good?
me fine?
Yeah.
All right. It's like I see my stuff coming on, but double checking.
There's a countdown that says we're going live in 1 minute.
1 minute.
Oh, we've gone live,
So
have we?
this app broadcasts to Twitter and everything.
Just a Twitter, yes.
All right. Sweet.
And so Riverside allows each participant to record locally onto their machine, right? And so you do have source files if something gets completely screwed with the network.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was going to say you might want to like upload it to YouTube after the call as well, because it
Yeah.
does do a recording. So
Apparently we're live.
Look out.
So it was set to go live in 4 minutes. Oh well, I just need to change the
Okay, and
settings.
so let me ask you: does this have a mechanism where we could chat live with people who are watching on a different platform and interact?
Yeah, if you go to x.com/helium
Okay,
builders, the event is live now, and it's just like a normal Helium chat event live. There's the comments
cool.
underneath it.
Well, hey, folks. Hopefully, we don't have the audio issues that we've had in the past.
Yep. I'm just going to type something in there
Cool.
now. Yeah, this is the link in the Discord. It says to go to Helium Builders, and this will be the top event at the Helium Builders Twitter if anybody
Excellent.
goes there. Just waiting for Joey to pop in. He's just popping in now.
Oh,
Hey, man.
Hello. Just trying to see if I could get a Seed Studio Radio Lib example going. In I gave myself like 18 minutes to do it. Didn't get it going. Um,
What platform?
uh, Platform IO Seeds little
The
dealy with Radio Lib.
which Zhao is it though?
Mm. Oh, it's the 1260. Oh, sorry, 1262 with the ESP
Yeah, I gotcha.
32S3.
I was messing with one of those last
Yeah,
night. Yeah.
Joey, the live event started earlier than expected, so we're currently live.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, anyone that's watching. It'll be a couple of minutes for
Yeah.
the actual IoT working group folks to join in here.
One of the settings was auto start, so I didn't realize that auto start meant the moment they started it, as opposed to
But
the moment I click the live button.
all good. I'm happy to take a couple little missteps in the grander effort of doing Riverside and all this other stuff.
And in our chat, I've put a link to the public chat.
Check this out, Joey.
Got it. What?
This is what they make 2-liter soda bottles out of when they blow it up. And
Right.
this I'm modifying. It was initially for a different board, but I'm making it so I can put a jowl in the end here, and then just seal this up with the jowl running inside of it. So
There's some jokes that I would make if we weren't live. What is it for?
this is actually a design for a poi, like a persistence of vision poi. Something you swing around and it light paints using dot stars. Yeah. But I'm kind of making that use the BLE sense board and kind of modifying this with the Dremel right now. So
a fading scar on my arm from
okay.
those things in college.
Pretty neat little project.
Well, so you're doing like an accelerometer based persistence.
I'm having to do a little bit of a port from the code base that it was up on Adafruit, I guess from about 10 years ago, man. But it was using NeoPixels. Now it's using the dot stars, which are a lot faster. But it's not. It doesn't support this board, so I'm having to kind of get support for the BLE. Over on that, but yeah, you just swing it around and it allows you to do a little POV light show on the thing. So yeah, neat project.
Adrian, just a little note: if you click on the stream from the thing that you linked us to, it takes you to a view with a live chat, and we've got looks like Suburban and Block Cocked is in there. Tech Services 122. So the chat box is working. This is progress. And yeah, there is maybe 15-second delay or so from what we're seeing and what's going on that end. So I guess just to kick things off, we're 2 minutes in here. This is a little bit of a new tech stack for us for these working group calls. It looks like we're streaming seven of us have our own little card up here, which is actually perfect for the config. We're using Riverside on the back end here, and that has all sorts of production functionality in it. But I would mostly like to try not to think about button clicking while we're live doing this call. So I don't know, give us some feedback to the extent if you want to on the way this is working, because we're sorting it out. It's new for us.
Looks great so far.
Yeah. Let's see. I need to pull up our agenda document. Give me a second. I apologize. In between also getting all of this stuff working, was trying to play around with a little tech demo before we got things going. But I didn't give myself quite enough time. So I don't think
Looks
that's
like
working.
a Jao with the 126X hat.
That's indeed it.
I need to order some of those. Those things are cool.
They are cool, and they are remarkably affordable. I won't quite say cheap yet. We still got a ways to go for Lorway.
Are you using these dev boards?
What's the best place to buy?
I did not pick one of those up, Teague. What did I just buy myself? Oh, I bought myself this little guy.
Ah, cool.
Which is just their color e-paper display, but it's got a ESP32 and a battery and all that in it. So it just feeds me stats on what. Well, I had to put this API together for the mobile network, so I just fed it to that. But I'm gonna get that fed with some more stats soon. Matthew, to your question, I buy them direct from Seed Studio. I believe they also sell them on Amazon. I don't know what Canada distribution is looking like these days, but there's a US warehouse now, and so they're sort of circumventing a lot of the import taxes and stuff and doing that in bulk.
Ah, perfect. I'll give it a shot then. DigiKey has them here, but they're very expensive.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, if you run into some blockers, let me know and I'll sneak them across the border or something.
Yeah, we do maker arbitrage or something. I have a feeling that's happening more and more these days.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta get crafty. Let me see. I need to pull up our. I don't even have Discord open. That's how migrated.
One thing that is pretty cool about those Xiaos is, especially the one you're using, I think, Joey, they have a built-in, like one cell lithium, ion charging circuit on it that also has discharge protection on it, I believe, over discharge.
Oh, that's great. That makes sense. I haven't dug into that, but I saw some. Oh yeah, there it is. Little battery plus minus right on the back.
And there's no components on the back that are populated, so it's completely flat. You can just tack those on, little solder pads.
Yeah. I got mine with the pin headers on, and then I did that by mistake, so I just took it off. But yeah, usually I like the stamp format.
Board's flat because it piggybacks. It has a piggyback board on it, and with both of those, I mean, and no pins, it's very low profile. So yeah.
It's so that I guess it's worth talking about just from a project standpoint. One, I wanted to give a little demo on this just because folks had been asking some questions about RadioLib and using it with Helium. So it'd just be nice to sort of show the proof case for that working. Number two is I need a new tracking solution in my truck. So I'm aiming to put one of these together with a little GPS module. And then I've always found it nice to have a tracker be multi-platform. So I'm going to do the AirTag protocol and LoRaWAN side by side, and it'll be hardwired into the truck. So then there's really no question around coverage. And then if I see pings of both coming together, I know exactly where it is.
You said you're also going to add sidewalk. Is that what I heard?
No, the AirTag.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. A sidewalk could be interesting, I guess, but I don't know if it's going to do me much in terms of favors. Oh yeah. So this is what I wanted to show. We can get these. You can of course get a proper AirTag, which is probably what I'll use, but you can also get these little cheapo versions of an AirTag off AliExpress, and it's basically just a Bluetooth beacon. And it should be able to just wire it into power and it'll do its thing. I gave this a run in a backpack for a while and it worked out okay.
I didn't know that Amazon let people build third-party Find My enabled devices. That's pretty cool.
Apple.
Apple, sorry. Wow.
Oh, weird. I just pressed that button in my life.
It's got more features, man.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a suspect.
How much RF is this thing putting out?
That's a very good question. It blasted all of it. Okay, sorry. I keep getting distracted. I need to pull up our working group agenda here.
And there's a little app, a utility app, that allows you to clone AirTags and write them off into another device, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I've explored, and there's a whole way to kind of hijack the Find My network to transmit your stuff over it, which is really cool, but I have no doubt that Apple's going to fix up that API endpoint at some point. Prevent this.
It's a red-blue game, I mean, we're going to see it going back and forth, and we have for a while now, so.
Cool. Okay. Proper agenda stuff. There are no new items on the agenda, although I can give some updates. Notably, we've had some discussion back and forth around the multi-gateway client. I caught up a bit with the dev that's working on that, and he's actually kicked off that work this past weekend. He was out of the house and had some time away from the family, so he dug in, which is a really good sign for getting that out the door. In the meantime, we've seen a number of community developers sort of taking their own stabs at those things, mostly through Docker and disambiguating the gateways between port. But the common port dedicated client should prove to be a bit more of a scalable option for this. So dropping Docker, clears a lot of overhead for running this thing. So that is in progress. Hopefully we'll start to see something that we can start to play around with soon. It's my hope.
Can I double check? The final solution will be in just a standalone Rust, right? It's not going to be multiple Docker containers.
Correct. Yeah, it's going to be. You're coming in a little low, Jeremy. It'll be Rust, and it'll be a single client that you would run that would separate each gateway as it comes in based on either the EUI or the MAC. I think we're probably leaning towards EUI there. And then it would stand up a private key for each device that comes in, and then maintain a connection to HPR for each and every one of those devices, which allows the downlink capability as well as uplink capability for all of those devices.
Do you mean hotspot or actual devices?
I mean hotspot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
No noise.
Yeah. My brain's all over the place today. I'm very deep in we're doing a bunch of stuff for Helium World, user accounts and working through vendors. So that's mostly where my brain's at this morning.
Helium World's a cool app. It's exciting stuff.
There's a lot coming. Got a tentative deadline end of next month to get some stuff out there. So hopefully more to share soon.
Very cool.
Teague, you were showing off the Zhao board earlier. I guess Matthew too. Well, you haven't gotten your hands on them yet, but
No.
there's been some questions in the community of folks trying to get these things running on Helium. So I sort of touched on this earlier. Okay. The common go-to library there, and one that seems to be gaining a lot of popularity, we used to go to LMIC and some of these other LoRaWAN libraries that have had fragmented support over the past couple of years as it sort of changed hands. Radiolib seems to be a really well-built library. I've played around with it. I've used it on Helium, but it prioritizes LoRaWAN 1.1. And so the thing that I found when I was running devices, and this was, I guess, 10 months ago or so, it needs to operate in LoRaWAN 1.0. Whatever for mode. So the LoRaWAN specification that Helium was first built on, we have LoRaWAN 1.1 out in the world now, which adds some features that are nice, but fundamentally acts the same as 1.0. That will work on Helium. However, most of the LoRaWAN network operators, so Medio Scientific, Disk91, Hey IoT, those things, they use the session key filter on Helium, which doesn't currently support the key formats that are coming in for a 1.1 device. So the way to make it work is basically set your device in 1.0 mode. The way you do that for Radiolib is just by emitting, I forget the name of the key, the network key. And then making sure that your region's set right, that you're set to subband 2 for Helium in the US, and everything should work. And so that was me trying to throw that together in the couple of minutes before the call. I need to take a look at, because I don't think that ended up sending a payload yet, but that's been my experience for making it work.
I know on the BLE Cent devices, which use the NRF52 840s, they don't have proper Platformio support yet. There's a long kind of running pull request, I think, to get that pulled over to have proper support. But right now, it's still kind of a little bit of a hoop show to get those up proper.
Right. Yeah, that's a kind of, I guess, the the biggest hurdle that I end up coming across anytime I'm starting up a project is just getting the dev environment to play nice. And so, like, once you kind of wrap your head around the learning curve of Platform IO or Arduino IDE or whatever it is that you're using, you're in pretty good shape. But getting to that point can be a challenge. And I think that's what is probably blocking me at the moment because I probably misconfigured something.
It is always tricky getting through those first couple of steps. I really struggled with Elmic back in the day. I found Radiolib was a decidedly easier, more ergonomic library to use. It was quite a bit simpler. The other thing I encountered was that Radiolib does exactly what it says on the tin. Elmic does that plus like 20 other things, which are kind of hidden deep into the code, particularly with regards to timing and duty cycle. So, duty cycle is important, particularly in other regions like in Europe, but the rules here are different. And I found that Elmic's duty cycle, process, however they were keeping track of this, was very, very conservative for North America, which did stop a few projects of mine from working that well. So it'd be really cool if Radiolib was. It's been a long time since I've used Radiolib in Helium, but now I'm going to go and try that tonight because that would get a few of my projects off the ground too.
There's a lot more fragmentation in Elmic, I think, as well. And Elmic was starting to get a little deprecated, and so the maintainer, I think, shifted on that over to what Peter and that group, and then I'm not sure if they continue to maintain that as the head. I don't know. I haven't messed with it recently.
Yeah, this is what I kind of understood as well. It was sort of trending towards maybe being a legacy software kind of thing. And to be clear, it was great, and it was a huge contribution to have that. We owe them a debt of gratitude for writing that and releasing it. For the longest time, that was the only, to my knowledge, functionally complete LoRaWAN stack you could just go and get your hands on. Admittedly, I've been of two minds of this for a while, which is, on the one hand, you get either Elmic or Radiolib and you have complete control over everything that your device is doing. But I've also had such easy success with either the RAC 3172 or the Seed E5 with their built-in stack and just using AT commands. There's an argument, I think, for you just get one of these commercial modules. They've implemented the protocol correctly. The AT commands are pretty simple to use, and then you throw your own microcontroller on besides that, which is pretty useful. Downside, of course, is that for some of my projects, like my balloon projects, I want everything ideally running on one SoC, so like an STM32WL, which you can't do if it's running the factory AT firmware. So then you've got two components there, and it does increase the cost and the power consumption.
Yeah. Matthew, another thing to bear in mind on the AT command firmware is that Seed and Rack both have one of those out, like you mentioned, but one can be reflashed if you write over it, and the other one cannot. You cannot redeploy the AT firmware on them. So.
Right, yeah, the E5, I don't know what possessed me to try doing this, but you can actually flash the Rack RUI3 firmware onto an E5. You need the ST-Link, programmer, and you need to mess around with the boot select / boot enable pin on the E5. But you can use the STM32Cube firmware, and you can basically say, get rid of the write protection, which it erases the factory firmware, and you can never reflash it again. But then you can run your own, whatever on it, and it could take the RAC RUI3 firmware, and it seemed to work just fine, which was kind of cool. But you're right, Travis. You can't recover that after you do.
And if anyone hasn't played with Cube IDE in recent years, it has come a long way, and it is really pretty slick.
It was a mission to get that working on my.
That's the MX
computer.
or the.
Then?
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly, but it was the only way to kind of get in there and do that. I don't know. I like the 3172 personally a little bit better than the E5. It is marginally more expensive. Comes with an external antenna connector. In my experience, is way easier to program. But the E5 in my head is what you do if you just want the AT firmware. Although I will
Yeah.
note, in some of these AT implementations, you can't mess around with the safe
Hmm.
word, which for LoRaWAN doesn't matter, but for point-to-point does. The
Mm.
E5 was one where you can't change that.
I actually, that brings up an interesting point that I was thinking about before this call, Matthew, is you've been doing a bunch of work on Meshtastic, and I'm curious from your perspective if you think it would make sense to do sort of a show and tell of some of that work, notably with an interest of like where there might be crossover for Helium community to think about some of the efforts or analysis that you've done there.
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. I think there's definitely a domain where you'd be interested in both projects. In my mind, they target different things. So Meshtastic, for anyone who's not familiar, it's the mesh-based LoRa
A mesh-based
project.
LoRa project. Sorry.
One of them, yes, that's right. Thank you.
It is the
It's
mesh-based
not
LoRa project.
yeah, it's not LoRaWAN. So the way that I think about it was it was initially a project that was created so that you could put maybe 5 or 6 people up the slope of a mountain who were skiing or something or hiking. It was a way that they could bounce messages between their phones with no internet connection. So very much a point-to-point ad hoc kind of system. Not exact. It didn't start out this way as an infrastructure project. That's changed in recent years. But it uses a mesh topology instead of a star topology. By point of comparison, I mean, LoRaWAN, like everybody knows, is this star thing designed to service thousands of devices using fairly capable infrastructure nodes in favorable locations. That being said, it does attract a cross-section of people who are interested in both projects, and I think there is an overlap here for some ideas. I was playing last week with trying to get Meshtastic to run on a LoRaWAN concentrator, but was unsuccessful in
Oh,
doing so.
Teague, what is that?
Oh, sorry.
Nails on a chalkboard, man.
Just the worst sound that will come out.
It's not picking up over here. Sorry, I didn't realize that was.
All good, all good. Yeah.
Yeah, all that to say, Joey, I'd be delighted to give a short presentation on that at some point.
Okay. Yeah, that would be awesome. And I see like Tommy's in the audience too. It's been on my to-do list to work with him to get a little presentation for some of the stuff that he's Lone Star Tracking is in the chat there, that they've been doing around multi-gateway clients. So I think we can start to queue up a couple interesting things. I think I know exactly why my little thing is not working is because I defined the board wrong. So the classic platform IO problem.
That is the platform IO. That and the serial port changing names. Those are the two.
I managed to get that. It stopped trying to flash to my AirPods. Yeah.
I've got a neat little script that kind of
So
helps out with that, especially because the button or the reset button on the BLE senses tends to fall off and kind of makes it a problem going into DFU mode. So just the way you help.
I finally did myself the favor of installing the Platform IO libraries globally on my machine because I did find a lot of value in the serial monitor and that platform PIO device list, which just list out all the USB devices in a nicer format than what like LSUSB would be doing or something like that.
Do you find yourself using Platform IO sort of from VS Code like most of us do, or do you use the CLI?
Or both. The CLI within VS Code is, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mostly stick to the native stuff in VS Code. Spare the couple of things where I just get used to running it with the command line, like listing devices or something like that, or doing the serial monitor.
Right.
No, if you do like code
But the
space period to launch VS Code, and it will bring like in a directory, it'll pull that up, and the terminal within that will already be everything will be scoped for your project there, which
that is literally what
Cool.
I do too. It's the awesomest way to
it is the way.
jump in.
Yeah. Oh, just to throw, since we're talking little hacks, if you're in GitHub and you press the period key when you're looking at a repo, it'll open an in-browser version of VS Code for whatever it is that you're looking at, which can be really handy just if you're going to make some copy edits or sort of try compiling something, you can do it in there.
Wait, question.
Ridiculous. The day and age
Question
we
then.
live in.
So if I'm doing a project and I've got multiple versions of ESP-IDF, and I want to, will it spin up in browser a VS Code with a particular ESP-IDF like environment for me, like my toolchain?
No, so you're totally sandboxed in your like browser session, but you can install plugins and stuff, but it's not going to have access to the things on your machine.
Yeah, that would be insane if it was able to do that. That probably.
Well,
would
I don't know. I think you can do it, but I don't have it set up
Terrifying,
correctly. I want to make it so I can just immediately spin up an idea, like a development environment on a particular ESP-IDF, save point. And I know you can do it, but I haven't had success in it being clean, I guess.
I have a little success just spinning up my first IDF project about 2 weeks ago, but there is this like shell script you can run that turns that shell session into an ESP IDF capable thing, and then when you run Visual Studio Code within that, it sticks to that IDF installation.
Yeah, that's the way to do it too. I think, man. Otherwise, you end up tripping all over yourself, or at least my experience there. I love ESP IDF, but the versioning can get a little complicated there when you're pulling VS Code into it as well. So I just try to stick with the command line there, and those Python scripts as well.
Anyway, that was a fun digression. I don't hear Matthew.
Sorry. Was I supposed to say something? Wow, I totally.
Oh, you were centralized, and it showed that there was noise on your icon. I'm just kidding.
My bad.
Never mind.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it really likes Matthew and keeps him as the priority speaker.
We got to fix that. That's for sure.
I keep trying to rerun my little code sample here, but it keeps failing to initialize the radio. So either I broke something as this floated around in my backpack for months, or I just need to look and see what the actual board definition needs to be. Oh, or I need to uncomment those lines. Oh yeah, there we go. It's in a big comment block. That'll do it.
So your next step, is that going to be getting these Xiaos up on Hardshare, man?
Possibly. Yeah, I saw Scott's in the chat there.
Okay.
I actually went and did a rebase of the educational docs last night. I'm still really eager to get that stuff merged and deployed because I think it's just a really handy tool. So yeah, these boards could be actually really nice on Hardshare. They're small, they're pretty straightforward, they're pretty easy to flash. Although, no, that would work pretty nicely.
I've had a number of them up here on Hardshare, and they've been working nice.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to put together, like Scott was mentioning, like just a clean onboarding process, some good sample code, and maybe we can make that the demo use case there.
Yeah.
Biggest thing is just get those docs together and merged so that we can make sure that can work, and then we can scale it. I'm really tempted to turn this into like a live debug session so we can get this thing working. But
hey, there isn't much outstanding, but Adrian said there's a grant application we should cover.
Take a look at that. So yeah, just on the topic of grants, as we talked about last week, we are temporarily pausing the grant process through the IoT Working Group, but let's take a look at that one. I think it's in our Riverside chat for those folks in here.
What up, Nick? I think I moved that over into a different status.
What's up, Nick?
On the grant thing.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. Nick, did you have
going by
some
previous
updates while you?
grants, they other grants took several weeks to approve. So by the time you probably reviewed this and made changes, grants could be going again.
Sure. Yeah. That also reminds me, if anyone is on the working group right now that doesn't have access to that, hit me up or hit someone up, and they'll make sure that your GitHub account works over there.
I mean, you've been doing an awesome job with this thing already, Teague.
Oh, I haven't been doing anything with it, so please, anyone, anyone, please feel free to step up on that.
Speaking of, actually, oh, sorry, Joey. On that note, since we're sunsetting the Discord server where I was usually distributing the materials, the input data, the report cards for my project, they could use a sensible, different home. I was thinking maybe Teague, your GitHub repo that you set up for this work would be the logical choice.
Yeah, we could do that, and I think there's a project in there as well, and a wiki. I mean, if we wanted to build out on that, I don't know, Joey, how.
Yeah, sounds good. I can do that. I dropped the link in our IoT Working Group Discord, but since that's going to go away imminently, starting next week, I will drop the materials in that GitHub for the time being.
Rock and roll.
And thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Nick.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party over here.
A minute. It took me a hot minute to figure out the link to come in. Thanks, Adrian, for doing that. I just didn't see that right away. I was over banging away on X, and I was like, man, nobody's reading these chats. Okay, so for the grant update, I've got 2 folks scheduled so far for interviews. I thought pretty cool to expand out the reach, and I'm actually having for the very first interview of season 2, it'll be Robert Boggs, who was a guest formerly. Pixie D-Ball stall or something on Discord is going to be the host, and he's going to be interviewing this guy Tom Kruger in German. So I thought it'd be super cool to say, hey, let's do something in a different language. Let's open this up to the non-Americans, all of us unilinguists, and see if we can get some more folks on there. And then I think the next step from there, pretty obviously, is to see if we can translate it back in English so that I can understand my own interview. But I think there's some super cool stuff to do there, and also to explore with the kind of multilingual capability that AI is giving us right now. This second interview will be in English, and then I've got a bunch of folks that I'm reaching out to this week to see if I can get them on. So, yeah, looks like it's kicking off well, and you guys should get good value for your money. And,
awesome.
Foundation sent over the payment, so we're good there. That was pretty good. That was great. Actually, allowed me to get started. And that's it. That's all I've got. Any questions, or drop out?
Of course, the biggest one is if folks are interested or know folks who are interested in being guests on the podcast, where do they go?
It's probably easiest just to email me, but they can if they can remember metsci.show, METSCI.show, SHOW. And I think that and my email is in every single podcast, so it's nick@medioscientific.com. Any of those will get there. I'm fairly easy to find on the interwebs. It can be Nick at Gristle King. By God, like any way you want to do it, you can hit me on DMs on X on the Gristle King, but there's lots of different options to get in touch.
Cool. Yeah, that's exciting to hear you've already started to fill the pipeline. And then how many shows are you estimating we'll see this season?
I think the contract is for 24. It was for 6 months, 1 a week. I'm aiming to over deliver on that because I think there's some potentially super cool stuff we can do. And yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Cool.
I think it's 1 a week once I get started.
Sure.
So
yeah, so like folks shouldn't hesitate thinking there's a packed pipeline or anything like if they reach out, there's probably a pretty good chance they'll get up in the queue, right?
Yeah. In fact, I found a dude. His website is lorawan-consulting.com. So I reached out to him and was like, hey, you probably want to come on this show. I don't know who you are.
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty funny, but we'll see if we hear back from him.
Cool. I mean, I love the podcast. They're great road trip listening. it's always interesting to hear perspectives of folks that I've seen in the industry actually get sat down for a little interview, and they to really speak their mind around what the challenges are, what they're solving, what their opportunities have been. It's really enlightening.
And I'm considering it was like this 15 to 30 minute window. I might do one or two that are a little bit longer, depending on the guests that come on and see what they want. Because I think there is something in there for.
I want longer. Some of like the Orn Brokar one. I was just like, I want more.
Yeah. Well, with all
Get him back on.
I could have talked to Olivier for a long time. He was a super cool dude, or Orn, or
Yep.
any of them. But I think the initial goal was like, hey, let's make these really digestible and listenable. I do have one more thing that's relevant to the working group that is unrelated to the podcast, which is this sled.wtf project. I got the frame built over the weekend, put up some pictures on Discord and on X. Pretty obviously, it is getting tracked with a LoRaWAN tracker. And then I think there's another piece that I just haven't done this before, but you can take I believe a Dragino node and just feed all of the information that's coming off the Hall effect sensors and the torque sensor and the rest of it and push it out all over LoRaWAN. I haven't done that before, so I think that might be one of the first blog pieces that I do to say, hey, here's how you get any sensor onto LoRaWAN. So that's the haps there.
Cool. The website sled.wtf.
That's it.
Yeah.
For with the flow.
Okay.
Obviously.
Folks should check it out. It's pretty cool. You and I, we've talked about this, every Wednesday on the show that we do in the mornings. It's basically one of those sleds that somebody would push for like CrossFit or like a football training or something like that, right? But sort of scaled into a way where it can be pushed much further distances and then adjustable so that anyone can participate without being a linebacker. So it's like sort of this net new thing, but then also a really cool opportunity to sort of make it smart. So sort of been fun to see that evolve.
Think of it as like Strava for hardware. Where most people go out and run and do their own thing with their little watch on, and this is actually like you're pushing a thing around. So it's just a new semi-category of.
Do you mind telling some of the listeners here what happened initially to this project?
Sure. Yeah, the V1 was just a sled that I'd welded up. That was a slider. So the V2 has wheels on it, but the V1 was just a slider. So I just pushed it, ground on the concrete, and screamed and screeched quite a bit. And I had 20-some people sign up to deliver it around the neighborhood. And then some person delivered it or had it delivered to the wrong place. So the way it would work is that you'd find out about it from a flyer. You'd sign up, put your address in. It would get delivered to your door. When the LoRaWAN tracker on it broke the geofence around your house that was set when you put your address in, you would get an email saying, hey, the sled just arrived. Here's where to take it next. Somewhere along the line, one of the people who signed up put in the wrong address and had it delivered to an apartment complex on a pretty busy street. And it sat there for about a week. I was out of town taking care of my mom who'd broken her arm, and so I just didn't pay attention to it. And by the time I went back and tried to figure it out, someone else at that apartment complex had identified it as illegal dumping and had called the city so that they came and picked it up and put it in the dump. And I called them once and never got a response out of them. I was like, all right, well, I wanted to build this second one anyway for a long time, so I just went on to the V2. So the first one is in the San Diego city dump.
Thanks, man.
Is it still pinging from the dump? Is that LoRaWAN tracker still going?
Funnily enough, if you go to sled.medioscientific.com, the last location it shows is where the sled was dropped off in front of the apartment building. But on the back end, I can look at the database and see that it's still pinging from up somewhere by the dump, a gateway near the dump. So, yeah.
Yep. Last signs alive.
Sled.medioscientific because like, dude, no one's gonna look at that thing anymore.
Yeah, until it discovers the crosshair, it's gonna try to catch it. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Solid updates. Since you're here, this Wednesday is actually the Helium community call, like you and I discussed being last weekend. It's this week. So for folks listening, do catch us on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific on, I think, this channel, wherever you're listening to us, and you'll see the Helium community call.
Yeah, that's right, Joey, on this channel.
Cool. Perfect. I love having Adrian in here. I feel just better knowing that somebody's keeping an eye on all of this.
We have
stuff
supervision.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly. So
Well,
this is
previously we used to do it in the background, but now as a host, I have to be in the call.
Well, it's nice having
okay.
you, man.
I think you can hide yourself, but I like having you up on here anyway. This is good. Yeah, again, we opened up with this. This is the first time we're doing video for the IoT Working Group calls on Twitter. So we're trying out new platform. This, I'd say, went really smoothly, all things considered. But love to hear feedback of folks that are listening. Thoughts, comments. We just want to make sure that all this stuff is crushing. Nick, thanks for hopping in. I think that about covers us for agenda stuff this week.
Can I add?
Did you have anything to cover on that grant application? Because all I was thinking of is that just to review it and say what you thought of it for the moment.
Yeah, I think that is probably the action item right now. I pulled it up, but then
Nick came on.
Not sure.
Actually, if we could kind of add to that action item, and anyone who wants, there is I guess, an action. So whenever someone puts that in, it will assign all the working group members to watch the incoming grants, or the incoming item. But it's disabled right now. It wasn't something, I don't know. It wasn't assigning group. I don't think you could assign groups. You have to assign individuals to watch it. So I turned it off for now, but if anyone wants to take a look at any of those actions, that would be cool.
Okay. Jeremy, you had a comment.
Yeah. Just wanted to keep pushing on the report. Kind of wanted to hear from Sam last week. I guess we won't hear it this week, but it's still, if we can get a handle on how much grant funds been dispersed from IoT and what the fund itself, how much money is in the operations fund, and just a kind of report of what we've done so far, so I can help understand.
Grant summary.
I propose.
I'm catching up with him on Thursday. I'll put that on my agenda for chatting with him, and then maybe we can touch on that next week. I think there's a couple of numbers floating around. Adrian probably knows how many H&T are still in the ops fund, but let's try to pile it all together, and we can address that as an action item on Monday.
I'd also like to say to anyone in Jamaica, that's, I hope your hatches are battened down, and our thoughts are with you. So.
I know, so we had talked about that as a grant opportunity for a while, but I think Suburban Crypto basically just went and started doing it.
Yeah, I know there's...
so I think there's some stuff getting deployed there.
I think we just got to 30 gateways over there, and I know he was getting a lot of gateways over there as well, so I know it is being jumped on, cool. So just everyone be careful over there. It's looking like it's about to be crazy, so.
Yeah. Yep. Stay safe. I guess to the extent that we could be helpful as a working group, anything around like data visualization or early detection or dashboards or things like that could be an interesting thing for us to explore. So might follow up with
cool.
them on that.
We have a model farm over there, and I know my guy Rue. I'm sure that we could get him to come up if you want to talk to someone on the ground who. He grows Scotch bonnet peppers out there. He's a radio engineer and an organic farmer out there. So really cool guy.
Cool. Yeah, Suburban says still on track. So they're working out there. Teague, anyone you're talking to that you think would be interesting to bring up and have a chat with the working group, I'd totally be open to that. Yeah. Sweet. All right, I got my note, Jerem. We'll get the spend and remaining.
Yeah, cool. That'd be super helpful. Thanks for pinging on that.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, let's keep crushing it. I am my brain is stuck in this thing, so I'm going to make it work before lunch.
These,
and then,
Joey, these are a cool little
The
print
rifle.
for those things. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
a
got a
little
button
enclosure.
on it, you know, for the like a little printed button. They're really nice, and it also has a little lanyard hole in the side of it. So
Oh, send me that. I got plenty of antennas and
Yeah.
SMA cables, so
Yeah.
I could
cool.
definitely make that work.
All right. Rock and
Sweet.
roll.
All right. Thank you all.
right, see ya.
We will
See you,
catch you in a
folks.
week.
Happy Halloween.